Morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Recognizing that I'm on the clock, I'll just get right after it here. My name's Gulau. I'm a Western Michigan grad. I am, as Scott mentioned, a serial entrepreneur with varying degrees of success. I've served on a couple of boards in the community, on the economic development side, and then also in the more community-oriented side. Today I'm here to talk about Grapevine, which is a 360-degree review survey tool for nonprofit leaders and boards. But before we can talk about Grapevine, I need to kind of explain my current business that I have. So Percent Invisible, we are a technology consulting agency that builds websites and apps for small to medium-sized businesses. And once per year, we do what we call an innovation month. So we do no paid client work, and we have 3 rules. The first rule is that no client work. I guess I already said that. And the second one is we have to focus on impact over perfection. So we recognize that when we do client work, it's very important to have our ones and our zeros and our I's and our T's dotted and all in a certain row. And we kind of get a month to, I guess it makes sense. As an entrepreneur, I try to force everyone to be an entrepreneur for a month, basically. And I try to say, let's do something creative and let's work on a project that we wouldn't normally work on to try to build our skills. And then at the end of the month, we do a demo. And what's happened in the past is that typically folks on the team, they work in their own little silo and they do their own little project. And this last month, for our innovation month, we all worked as a team to make a product that we are going to try to see what happens in the marketplace. And that's Grapevine. So that's the context there of kind of the how behind Grapevine. Grapevine's interesting because it focuses on boards and nonprofit leaders. I think holistically or anecdotally, I've heard that Kalamazoo County has the most nonprofits per capita in the country. Is that right? I'm seeing nods. Okay, cool. So we all believe that. So we feel like there's a total addressable market here that's quite large. I serve on a few of those boards, and this is kind of how I see the problem. This is how the story started. When I started serving on boards, I learned that boards have 3 main responsibilities. You have to manage organizational policy, you have to set and approve a budget, and then you have to hire and review your executive director. First 2 typically are easily handled in meetings. The third, however, is limited to how a board perceives the meeting activity. So I was faced with this challenge as a board chair. I'm the board chair currently of Community Homeworks, which focuses on critical home repair for folks in need in our community. And we were looking to evaluate our executive director, and it was difficult. I had a lot of questions. How are we going to do this? How do we know that Chris is doing a good job without talking to the staff and without talking to other members of the community? And so it seemed like there was 2 ways to go about this. We're going to do it ourselves, or we're going to hire a consultant. And as an entrepreneur, I decided we'll do it ourselves. And so a couple of us on the board started thinking about how we might do this. And this is the process that we outlined. We said, okay, we need to find a survey tool. We need to identify the questions to ask. We need to figure out how to use the survey tool, identify who to email. We need to send the invitations. We have to remind ourselves to remind other people to fill it out because we're all very busy people. We have to update the board because they're going to be curious, and then we have to build the report. And so we thought there's got to be a better way. So at Percent Invisible, we decided we'd build this product called Grapevine, where we would create a product that would automate a lot of these hands-on pieces of the process. Collect all the information in one place, create a set of questions tailored for the staff and the board, and community partners, automatically create reminders and updates, and then have the report automatically build itself and be delivered via email. So take all of that manual work, automate it. It's a software as a service, so we created 3 tiers here. There's the first layer, basically this is what you get, depending, and then of course, as you upgrade, you get more. 3 audiences, so a survey goes out to 3 audiences. You've got your board approval workflow. One of the things that we considered was we don't want someone just going off and buying this. There needs to be some sort of approval process, so we incorporated that into the checkout process. The assessments are sent via email. At the base level, you get periodic engagement updates and reminders. And then at the base level, you get all of the data sent to you via CSV file. If you upgrade, that's when you get the automatic report sent to you. And if you want to go all the way, we also send text message reminders to everyone on the list as well if you provide phone numbers. So here's the roadmap. I guess this is probably where the magic starts to happen, or we start to tell a little bit more of the story. We've got version 1 or version .01 there, which was we had single package. We kind of did what's called the Wizard of the Oz. Have you guys heard of this? The man behind the curtain strategy, where we kind of made it look like it was an app, but we did everything behind the scenes manually. I kind of described that already. And that went well. We got some good feedback for that. And then just this past January, we said, okay, we're going to take a run at this, and we're going to make this a product where we automated and created the tiered purchasing that I've already talked about. As we look to the future, we're thinking about product market fit. How do we nail the messaging? Similar to Michael, I also have marketing challenges. We are not inherently good marketers. I feel like all of us have a certain Midwestern nice about us, and we don't like to talk about ourselves very much. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to grow a product. So maybe we should talk later as well. But we're looking to find repeatable and scalable sales channels, and we're looking to adjust based on what we learned too. We recognize that as a startup and as kind of taking our own ideas and putting them in a petri dish and shaking them around and seeing what comes out the other side, once we start interacting with more customers, we'll probably need to check and adjust a bit, and we're ready to accommodate that. As we look to the future, we feel like there's quite a big runway for this. There's a lot of opportunities for other tools to be incorporated into the process that we've made on the back end. There's the opportunity where as the data set gets larger, you can benchmark executive directors to other executive directors regionally or not industrially, but like by service, I guess. No technology presentation would be complete without talking about AI. We can do a lot of things with AI, like sentiment analysis. We can think about better distribution, customized reports with artificial intelligence. This whole thing was created using artificial intelligence. That's the only way we were able to make something like this in 30 days. What are other things going on here? Probably the most important thing that's interesting for us is thinking about GuideStar. We know that that's a very popular tool for nonprofits and measuring the governance of those nonprofits. And we think there's an opportunity that if we do this right, that could potentially be an acquisition target for GuideStar or potentially integrating with them. So with that, my time's up. Thank you.